Dee, it's Dawn here with Dee Creates Crafts. Welcome, welcome to our November card kit class. I am very excited about this class. It's fun. It's actually one card, two orientations. This one's the vertical, and then we're gonna make the horizontal. Then we're gonna decorate a belly band for the acetate gift box, and you can give the whole thing as a gift or keep it for yourself. You could tuck it into your own Christmas stocking, right? So I'm gonna turn you down. Let's get started. We'll go step by step, and we have 3 projects to work on this month, so get ready. I'm gonna turn you down. All right, so I've got my goodies here. Let me put this card so you can watch as we go along and do our some assembly required. The base card, what I'm calling the base card, is the green piece, and yours will probably be, let me look, gosh, 4 1/4 by 11. You're gonna fold it in half, because I cut it this way, and then you're gonna score it at 5 1/2, but then I'm gonna have you cut at 2 3/4 off the front of the card. So we've got our card like this. So when you go to do your cutting, be so careful and mindful that you're using the top of the card. So you'll slide it in, and once you cut it off, you will have 2 3/4 left, all right? So we're gonna cut, let me think, 1, 2, we're gonna cut, is it 2 1/2? Let me see, 2 3/4. Let me do it this way because I'm confusing myself. 2 3/4, we're gonna cut, and now let me see how much is left. 2 3/4. Okay, I'm doing better than I think I am. What? So anyway, this is our base. I believe you have to cut either one or both of your bases. You have to do the cutting. So anywho, that is your step 1, to prepare the base by folding it in half or scoring it and then cutting off 2 3/4 off your front. Now, you've already got your decorative piece pre-cut, 2-sided, so you could choose. I'm gonna do this side because it's got both the green and the red, and once I bring in my, let's call it mini card, I feel like it matches both, just too cute for words. So that's why I chose little prints with both colors in the print. Now your mini card is, I'm not sure I measured this one for you guys. It's 2 1/2 by, and they're pre-cut for you, and you're gonna get the 8 1/2. This is the mini card, and this is scored at 4 1/4. So this is our mini card. And the step 2 we're gonna do is adhere our colored part down. So I'm gonna have you open it up just so you don't accidentally get glue on the base. You can use wet glue, you can use dry adhesive, it does not matter. It's just if you use wet glue, I want you to use very little. Less is more, because y'all, if we add too much, you can actually warp the paper. Now we want it to the very end, obviously, but you can see I barely squeeze, and I use the point or tip of the bottle just to push the ink around. And you can get a little heavier in the middle, does not matter. So I want to put that. And the nice thing about glue, it has a little wiggle rim. So if I had it too close to the bottom, I can just shift it up, etc., etc. So that is your step 2. So let's fold it back up. And remember, this is our vertical card. So even though I had you cut it like this, now I want you to place it up and down vertically, because the flap literally is gonna open in that direction. So now what we're gonna do is stamp the sentiment on this white card, which is gonna go on the inside of the red, so you can see how it's coming along. But let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment first. And a little just reminder here, this card is vertical, so we want our sentiment to be read horizontally, but the card to be laid vertically. Now I did intentionally choose excuse me, my mouth is dry, sentiments, because you may not have the stamp set that I originally used. So I wanted you to feel like I'm gonna do a little test. Let me get some scrap paper. I tend to do that with Precious when I'm stamping sentiments. I do a little test run. Put it towards the bottom. Let me make sure. Yep, towards the bottom, because we're gonna decorate. I used red. You could use ink. You can use green, you can use black, whatever you want in the whole wide world. So the demo one is Joy. So my second one I did was a little wordier, and it's still Christmas. A wish for everything merry and bright. So that's it. All right, now let me look at my next step. We're gonna adhere the white. Nope. This is gonna go on the outside. I caught myself because we've got another one for the inside, so forgive me. I think, let me look. Let's adhere this down. This is gonna be our next step, step 4. Then we're gonna decorate, okay? Just adding a little glue, a little dab will do ya. Same rules apply as far as less is more with your glue. If you're using a tape runner, you're fine. No rules apply really. I'm only moving it horizontally so I can see it better. So now I can turn it in the correct direction. See how I did with my lining up? And now it's time to decorate. I've got some of my, you might find this too, some of my little holes in between my little green fern, not ferns, what kind of branches are these, you guys? Pine needles. Yours may need punching out just like mine did. And it was either this one or the next one. I think I gave you 2 wreaths. I only cut one for myself. On the original card, I did 1, and it just looked too sparse. So I added some stamped leaves. But I thought for the card kit, I really would enjoy having you guys have 2 wreaths. So we're gonna adhere this down. Now, I'm mostly gonna do the leaves. You don't have to worry about having glue on every itty bitty little baby pine needle, you know, but get enough on it. Here's a little leaf. So it will stick. I don't know why, I'm just putting that towards the top because, uh-oh. Let me twist mine, you guys. My little baby leaves are getting in the way. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna cut that heifer off. Huh. Okay, hold on. See how that leaf is covering up my sentiment? Oh my stars, it's making me laugh. Okay, now it doesn't show, but you know what I think I'll do? This is overkill, but I'm gonna add a little glue and just put this baby leaf somewhere else. There. So he's still on our card, yet now he's not in the way of my sentiment. Now, this is pretty. So for the next step, still part of step 4, I'm gonna have you adhere the white to the inside. You have 2 pieces of white, the exact same size. Now do as I say, not as I do. See, I got some glue on the outside edges of my wreath. Yeah, I should not have done that. For some reason, I thought it was gonna be a little wider, the red card. All right, so I'm adding a little bit of glue. Gonna line her up. And you can either stamp another sentiment on the inside of this, or you can save it for a handwritten note, whatever you prefer in the whole wide world. So the fun part is our step 5, where we did some of the decorating by adding the wreath, but I'm gonna add a bow, and then I wanna add some bling. Now I gave you guys, you probably have a little bit extra bling, because I was worried, what if you lost it, or what if you wanted to add more? Totally up to you. I see this guy is poking up, so I'm just gonna burnish it as best I can around my wreath. There, feels a little better. So let's do our bow, you guys. This is part of step 5, part of decorating, and I tried to give you enough where your hands wouldn't get in the way and give you enough wiggle room and so you can manipulate it. Make 2 loops. And then you're gonna take the loop in your right hand, and you see how I've got in the middle about 1.5 inches of space? You need it, and we'll fix that. So take the loop in your right hand, cross it over the top of the left loop, tuck it behind, and then up and under and through the loop. And gently pull. And now, look, that's kind of a wonky bow. So here's how we fix it. You gently hold the knot and gently pull almost to it's like too small. Your loopies are too small. And then give it a tug. And you can continue doing that with your loops and your tails until the bow is just the way you like it. And then we have too much here. Let me see if I like the too much. Sometimes I do. It's kind of cute. Let me see if it gets in the way once I'm just gonna hold it up and see if I like it. Otherwise, I'm gonna cut the tails off. I might need a little cutting. I might leave it a little long though, you guys. I feel the need for a little something different. So let me get my baby glue dots. Hopefully you have a glue dot, but no biggie if you don't, because glue works perfectly well. It just takes a little longer because you need to wait till it dries. So if you're using glue, I want you to assemble your bow, like adhere it by assembling it. Adhere it down where you want it on your wreath. Hold your thumb on your knot, give it a little manipulation there. Oh, I feel the need, that little loopy there. I think I'd like to make these banner tails. So if you want to, you can either cut yours at an angle, but if you want a banner, this is just kind of cute and fun. Pinch your tail so that there's a fold. You want the fold towards the top and the opening towards the bottom. Now here's the trick. With the fold on top, the scissors have to come from the bottom towards the top and then cut at an angle, and there you go. There's your little banner. And it doesn't matter that it's not perfect, it still gives the pretty look of a fancy banner. Fancy is the accent for fancier than fancy. So I've folded it in half. My fold is at the top. I'm coming from the bottom towards the top and cutting at an angle. And again, I've got a nice little banner. It's kind of cute. And now we're going to adhere it down. So it's going to, when it adheres down vertically, we want the bottom flap's going to go towards the inside of where the sentiment will go, and then the outside of your decorated outside card is going to go towards the outside. So keep this in mind as you adhere down, because now I want you, let me see how far down I did this one. Yeah, that's about the same. So let's see, what would that be about? Gosh, 1/2 inch on each side, but it doesn't have to be exactly that. Just kind of eyeball it. I like to keep things super simple with minimal measurements, minimal, I'm going to say effort. I like our projects to have a lot of bang for the buck, meaning minimal effort, simple projects, yet the results look like, whoa, baby, we've worked very hard. I am using, I didn't even tell you what I'm using. I am using tear and tape. For me, it's stronger. You can still use the dry tape, the tape runner. You can use glue. These particular cards I do for myself like the tear and tape because I know it's going to stick and stay put. All right, I'm ripping it off. If I ever get quiet, it's because I'm concentrating, which makes me laugh. And it makes me laugh because you're seeing me concentrate and you're seeing me be quiet because I have to concentrate. Anyway, do you guys make yourself laugh? All right, so we're just going to eyeball it. We're just going to center it as best as our little baby eyes will allow us and adhere it down. And then the little flap is going to come up over the inside of the card, and your actual card's going to fold down. We've got our precious little bow. My bow, I want my loopies loopier. But I will work on that and not be so obsessed while we're together. All right, next we're going to add some bling. You don't have to put your bling where I put it. You put your bling wherever you want. Like with this bigger sentiment, let me see if I even want it there. I might. Good night, Job. It just went running away from me. I might actually put it right there for this card. So put you a little glob of glue. If you have to, lick the top of your finger, touch it to the little bling, and then lower it down on the glue and let it sit. Now it's got to dry under that glue, so you don't want to stand it up right away until our pretty little bling dries. And I think your card's going to look better than mine because I'm 99% sure I gave you 2 wreaths. One of the wreaths, you guys, I die cut on print paper. So I wanted to call that to your attention because I didn't know if you knew you could even do that. So it just gives you a little variety in color. And it was so subtle a print that I felt like it just looked variegated. It looked like the pine needles, and et cetera, et cetera. So here are the 2, your first card is finished, and you have the 2 sentiments in case you don't have the joy one. I think that came in a paper pumpkin, you guys, and this is brand X from somewhere. So just use what you have at home. In January, I'll get back to promoting stamp sets. Are you ready? Are you ready to start card number 2? I think it's going to be fun. This card is the same card. However, oh look, my cheat sheets. However, it is going to be horizontal. So let me put this little guy in the corner so you can stare at it while I get some of this out of the way. I like a clean view for you so it doesn't look distracting. Well, more distracting for me than you. All right, card number 2. So the base, again, is 11 by 4 1/4. You're going to score it at 5 1/2. I think I've already done that for you. But now you're going to need to use the front. So again, remember how we did that. You open your trimmer, line up your fold line, your score line, and you're going to cut 2 1/2 inches off. So, well, let me come this way just because 2 1/2 inches. So there's my 2 1/2. Cut that right off, and then it's the front. So you're going to have all this inside open, and that's the front of your card. So I believe you do have to cut it off. Now, the inside, that was step 1 to get your thingy cut, your base. Step 2, we're going to use the small inside card. So we're going to do this guy. This is my small inside card. There's going to be a little piece of white that goes on the inside and a print that goes on the outside. Now the print on the outside of this card is barely, barely, barely smaller than the outside card because look, they're the same width, but only 1/4 of an inch difference. So you want the shorter one for the flappy. Now, what I need to call to your attention before we adhere down is flip it this way. It's going to look and feel backwards because it is. But once we get it in our card, it's going to open backwards and then open this way to the left like a little book. So that's the fun fold, but while we decorate your step 2, your small inside card, please know the flap is going to be in the wrong direction than what we normally do a card. And I'm calling this the small inside card because really it's kind of the main card because with this white we're adhering down is where you would either stamp a sentiment or just leave it blank for a handmade love note. Some Christmas wishes, if you will. And if you have somebody that has a birthday in December, how cute would it be to give them a Christmas card, but on the outside, stamp happy birthday. Precious. Like they've never had anybody do a theme before. Ha ha ha, sarcasm. All right, you have 2-sided paper. So you have some options. You can either put the plaid part towards the outside and then use the snowflakes on your middle card, or I thought, for me, I wanted the snowflakes to be dominant and then this to be the coordinating because then I decorate it with the circles. So you have options. I want you to personalize your card. I want you to enjoy your card. But step 3, the outside base left flap. So this is our base card. This little piece that is left over from the cutout is now the outside of the card, and this is on the left. So we are going to adhere this decorative piece down, and this is your step 3. So I'm going to do it along with you. Now this paper is a little darker, so I feel good that you'll be able to see how little glue I actually use towards the edges. I am going to open my card so I don't get glue on the inside, which I probably would not because we've got the nice margins on the outside, but I don't want to take a chance. All right, now I'm going to close it up like the card that it's meant to be, and now we're going to adhere the coordinating piece, which is 5 1/4 by 4, to the inside. You also have received by email from me the PDFs for all 3 projects, and I do that so you can make these again. You'll now have the videos, you'll now have, it's kind of like see one, do one, make one. So you've seen how to do it, and you've read how to do it, and now you're going to make one. And then when you go to repeat these cards, you'll have the directions, you'll have a picture, but you'll also have had some practice. All right, so that card's going to look like this. Cute. So step 5 is, let's adhere the decorative part, which I just flipped it over. You don't have to. If you want it to look like that, that's cute too, isn't it? So anywho, you guys, I want to see your cards. If you would show and tell your cards on the Facebook page, Dee Dee Creates Crafts, and either post them yourself or go down one of the comments where anyway, I'll figure something out. But post them on the Facebook page, anywhere. People love to see, let me look real quick. I did use dimensionals to pop that up, but before we do that, we want to stamp our sentiment. Now for this one, I gave you guys a larger die cut circle with some pretty ruffles, and then the white one we're going to adhere down after we stamp a sentiment. So I'm going to do a new sentiment here. Oh, by golly, have a holly jolly Christmas. Precious. Now a couple tricks, I'll show you with the next one, but when you're doing a sentiment, it's come to my attention, if you lay your sentiment corner to corner instead of lining it up, even though we have these lines, it tricks your brain where you won't be so focused on lining it up, and you'll just be focused on stamping it down. Let me get my little baby scrap paper out. I can see I need a little more ink in the middle. So it's just a little test run so I can see where I need more ink, because I don't want to press too hard, because then you get those blotches. All right, let me see. Yep, you could do center to center top. The secret with stamping is press firmly, but do not wiggle. You don't want to rock or wiggle your acrylic block, because that'll give you a shadow effect. The other thing is, when you're working with polymer stamps, you need something underneath it to give it, this is foam, this wood looking thing. Can you see that? It's just some foam. So what I recommend is a mouse pad or something similar to this, but that will help save your life when you're using the polymer stamps, because with red rubber stamps, it's already got a built-in padding, so you don't need it with the red rubber stamps. But the polymer stamps, yes ma'am, yes sir, you do. And it'll just improve your stamping so much. You're going to be really tickled with your stamping skills. Okay, so let's adhere down. And right now it doesn't matter which direction. Your sentiment onto the pretty little ruffled circle underneath. And this is the one I am going to pop up onto the mini card that opens in the wrong direction. Now what we want to do next is, your next step, I would feel better if I go ahead And we, for our next step, is adhere our smaller card to the inside. And once it's adhered, just like the first one, the flap's gonna come to the inside, and then this flap will go to the outside. And again, let's center it down. So you can either use the tape runner, why can't I remember the name, or use some tear and tape, and even your glue. I just get stuck in my ways. I know you guys never do that. As far as particular products for particular projects, I ripped a little piece of paper, but it's okay because it won't show. That's what I'm telling myself. What? I know. Sometimes I do it in different directions. Don't ask me why. And it doesn't matter. However you do it is awesome. All right, I'm gonna pick. And if you don't have a pick, I believe scissors will work the same way, so let's experiment, and they do. So if you don't have a pick, just use carefully, very carefully use the pointy part of your scissors. It even works better with it open. But just be careful. I've cut myself on scissors before. You would think they're not that sharp, but goodness, they are. All right, when you don't use glue, this is where you have to be. Good night, Job. I can't believe I did that. I was trying to get that little hangy piece off. Ugh. All right, let me stick it back down. Now I'm irritating myself. And I'm gonna put a little glue because, oh my stars. Have you ever messed yourself up? Good grief, Charlie Brown. But one of my specialties is fixing mistakes. Because I still make tons of them. All right, so this card goes horizontal. This baby card, our small flappy card, center it, top and bottom, just eyeball it, side to side, about 1/2 inch, eyeball it. Make sure it's pretty darn straight, you know what I mean? And that's how it's gonna look, except now we're gonna decorate it stinking cute. All right, I think for myself, I'm gonna do it in the center. So put your dimensionals not on the edge because it just, look at that, that's that paper I was trying to get at. It just barely extends the ruffle part beyond. So that's why these are not exactly on the center. So just eyeball your center, make sure your baby sentiment is facing down, facing towards you, so it'll look like that. And now we're gonna make us a little bow, and then we're gonna add some snowflake sequins. I just thought they were precious. I did give you guys some red ones on my original. I just used the white, but the red is just as darling. And if you have extra bling, then you could put one of those there instead if you want. All right, I did use a black bow because I just thought it'd coordinate and look pretty. I used some twine this time. Make yourself a bow as best you can. Okay, I'll show this to you. It's a little complicated. It took me 1 year to learn this, so do not get intimidated. With your ring and thumb finger and a little tail hanging out, we're gonna go in and out, like a little weave. So go over the top of your pointer finger and underneath it, and then up through the V and over your middle finger, under the middle finger, over, under, over, under. So now, give yourself a nice sized tail. So your tail is going to go, good grief, Charlie Brown, up behind the twine, in between that little V. It's gonna come around over, and now see this loop right there? We want it to go under and up through it, and that's the trick, because you're gonna want to dive down into it, but if you go under and come up and over, ooh, it works so much better. And I tend to give myself another little loop. I go around and then tie these two together. Hang on, I gotta use my teeth. Hold on. Ah. Unless you have 3 hands, you need your teeth, right? So cut off your tails, toss them, gently pull your loopies off, and then we're going to adhere it just wherever you want in the whole wide world onto your sentiment. You could put it at the top where it just hangs over the sentiment a little. You could go on the bottom. It's totally up to you. I want you to feel free to personalize your cards and kind of use my ideas as a template. Now, granted, if you want it to look exactly, I understand this, because when I first started making cards, mine had to look exactly like, I couldn't even, when I was taking classes, I couldn't even have different colored paper from the teacher. I was like, oh, I have to have the same paper. And you guys, we gotta thank Dawn Charette, because I ran out of a few pieces of these squares, and she mailed them to me from Alabama, so we would all have the same paper, because I know how I felt when I was doing classes as a pupil. I almost said patient. What? So let's add some sequins, our snowflake sequins, because we can. Glue, lay them down, and let's get a different one. Use, I wonder if that looked good. Let me put it there. Yeah, it does. Use 3 or more. You always want odd numbers. Always, always, always want odd numbers. Ooh, I think I may put that back here. Let me look. Nope. I'm gonna put it down there. The other thing is some sort of triangle with your bling. That's just very appealing to the eye. All right, so this card is done. Let me move my bling. And here's the sample card versus the card we just made. So how do you like this card? So you've got the horizontal, and then we have our vertical, and now we're gonna decorate the belly band for the decorative box. Cute, huh? Okay. You like the way I fish for compliments? I ask you if it's cute. This box, don't panic if it feels awkward to fold and bend, because it does and is. On this one, I even have some clear tape on it. Sometimes they're just funky, so gently like fold and then gently fold and tuck it in. Do the best you can. It's not meant to be a perfect permanent organizer. It's just meant to be a beautiful little gift box. And so there's our acetate box. Here's our belly band. I'm gonna stick that back in there so you can see. Now, the first thing, your first step, I'm gonna share with you, I'm gonna use a piece of scrap paper, is you got a piece of plaid, but kind of boring plaid, taupe on ivory, you know? So I wanna teach you how to make it prettier and matchy-matchy. So what I want you to do, you can use a watercolor pencil, you can use a crayon, you can use an ink marker, anything you want in the whole wide world. So I want to share with you, I left a couple left over because, where's my other little card? And I just used my 3x5 little cheat sheet notes to do my things. Now you can see there's a plaid thick layer. I didn't do both sides, I only did one side. So choose the right or left side and stay consistent all the way down, because then you're gonna flip it and go in the opposite direction. Now, if you're using a marker, I found this trick by trial and error. Let me go this way. Line up your card or use a ruler. This is acting as a ruler. I have just a hair of the little plaid taupey line showing, and then with my marker, I'm gonna start the marker out off the band and end out off the band. I'll show you why. See how it made that dot? It is not cute when it's on your thingy. No, I did on the wrong side. Kerr says, oh, you know what? That'll be hidden, I feel better. Okay, look! All right, cross your fingers, say a prayer, it'll be hidden. I only saved a little bitty bit to demo for ya. And this is the hardest thing you're gonna do on your project. I think that's it. Okay. And I say that to encourage you that this is gonna be the hardest thing you do. So now we've got a pretty decorative plaid band, and we've got our base band, and we're gonna make it, I do have to take that off. Okay, I do want you to assemble your box, or at least pinch it so it's squared up, because we're gonna, let me see if I measured it for you or if you have to do some cutting. No, I did pretty good. I'm proud of myself. Okay, take the red. This is gonna be the base of your belly band. I did not score these intentionally because we don't want it too tight, we don't want it too loose. So hide it, hold it about centered, and then wrap your band around. It is gonna go to the front and overlap just a hair. And now that you see where you want it, now I want you to give little pinches. So it's gonna have a crease. And then we can come back with our crease tool and know where to give our belly band a little crease. So no measuring here, no scoring, easy peasy, mac and cheesy. All right, so this is gonna overlap towards the top. I have to erase my words that say and tell me, oh, there it is. This is a belly band. I have all kinds of little notes to myself. And you can do that. Feel free always to label things, to identify projects for yourself. I am, you guys. Let me see how much overlapping. Okay. I don't want to wait for the glue to dry with this particular project, the belly band. And we are going to assemble it onto the box, even though it'll slide on and off. So there's my dry adhesive. I want to make sure as pretty good as humanly possible that I line up the outer edges, and now I'm going to take it off to give it a pinch. And we're going to do the exact same thing with the plaid. So I'm going to put this little belly band back, and I'm going to take my plaid and kind of center it as best I can. See where the edges meet, and now I'm going to give each little corner, each little side right here a pinch with my finger. And you may not even need to crease this with a crease tool, just kind of know where your folds are, because this paper's thinner, and it's, to me, a little easier to manipulate. The red is nice and strong, which serves a purpose, but this one is also very nice to fold. Okay, so I've got two seams. They are unattractive, but we're gonna cover them up, look. So that's why, oh my stars, that's still, I may move mine sideways. Would that look terrible? That bugs me, the OCD in me, that bugs me. I don't really have OCD, but I'm gonna claim it for this particular thing. All right, so we're gonna stamp a sentiment there, and you've got a little bit of a different wreath. I put some stars for you. So let's go ahead and stamp a sentiment. I did use black. This says a little something just for you. Oh, that's a good old sentiment because, all right, I need a little more ink. Ta-da! Put the lid back on, otherwise you'll put your elbow or your fingers in it. See, I got a little bit of black right there. I'm gonna wipe it off. You know why? I have had ink get on my hands and then smear onto my projects, and it's maddening because you feel like, oh, I did all this work and now it's got a smudge on it. Curses. All right, so now we're gonna glue down our pretty sentiment onto the ruffled base. Now this one I did stamping. I did all stamping, but I wanted yours to look and feel as much like mine as possible, which is why I cut you out a little baby wreath. I didn't fussy cut you guys, I die cut. All right, so we're gonna put that down somewhere special. It's too stinking cute. Now this, oh, I did. I wasn't sure if I did the dimensionals, but I did. All right, I'm gonna add a little glue. Let me see. I'm okay. I was looking to see if any of my stars hung over the edge, so I didn't put glue where it would hang over the edge. Because then it sticks where we don't want it to stick, you know? All right, let me see how I'm doing. Oh, precious. I like it. It's kind of different, don't you think? So this is stamped, so just know the difference. If you have a holly stamp, you can stamp it. Or for the class, I just did this little wreath, but we're gonna add some bling. Next, all right, where's my little bling? Here it is. We're gonna add bling to this, so that'll fill up some space. We're gonna dimensional pop it up, but before that, can you see? We need to take our ribbon. My ribbon may look different than yours, but let me see if that's the right length. I think they're all the same. Yeah, for the most part, they're the same. So I'm gonna use, where's my baby? Here they are. I'm gonna use my, let me pull this off. Yeah, I did good. I'm using a glue dot, and I centered it, so I'm gonna put, let me move it out that way. I put the ribbon on the glue dot. Now I just wanna barely measure it. You're gonna have a little too much, and that's okay, I want you to. No, that was not my intention for the decoration to slide off the base, but things happen. But I'd rather them happen to me than you. All right, let me get another little baby glue dot for right there. Ooh, it stuck good. Sometimes they mess me up and don't. All right, that's pretty centered, pretty centered. So that's about step 3 or 4, and I'm only adhering it down right there. This part is still a little loose, but I just liked that it's loose. So now let's adhere this down, the middle one. Yep. Now it does extend a little, so again, let's do our little baby glue dots. Not glue dots. Our dimensionals. Not too close to the edge. And then we're going to cover up the seams. That's covered up pretty good. So I have a little piece of hair that's in my way. All right, let me see. There. And I'm going to glue the bling down, and then I'm going to add a pretty bow. I think that's a new. I just made some noise, didn't I? All right, a little glue dot. If you have to, lick your fingers, stick it to the bling, lay your bling down. If you want more bling, add it, whatever you want in the whole wide world. And now you should have some more ribbon. This is a bow, just like the one we made for another project. So you take your loopies, have some space in the middle, right loop over left, go around the back of the loop and up through the hole. Now, that's not cute, like we said. So remember, we're going to hold gently the knot and pull the tails so the bow is too small. And then come back and kind of play and manipulate it until it's the size and looks the way you want it to look. I'm getting pretty tickled with how mine's looking. And so, cut that off. Let's do the banner. Let me see if I twist that. The banner cut again. So fold your ribbon in half. Fold has to be on top. Scissors come from underneath. Cut at an angle. There you go. This is the only time I literally don't worry that thingies are not perfect. It's like the only time and the only thing. I don't know why. All right, so then it's like, where do we want to add it? I think I'll do the same as I did for that. I was layering it here to see if it looked cute there, but for me, I'm gonna repeat and do the same thing. And glue dots are tiny and hard to see sometimes, right? All right, so I'm gonna put that on top of the ribbon and then put my precious little bow on top to be held down. And we are done. What do you think? So we've got our gift box, then we have our horizontal card, then we have our vertical card, and you have enough to make 4 cards, 2 of each design, plus envelopes, and they will nicely fit in this gift box. And what a beautiful, beautiful gift that would make for someone, either a hostess gift, a neighbor gift, a last minute, hey, somebody got something for you and you really didn't get something for them, one of those gifts. Teachers, co-workers, endless, endless opportunities. So I hope you enjoyed this. I did want to give you a sneak peek to the next class. So let me move these to the side. I'm going to actually show you the whole thing. It's a gift tag class, so I wanted to share with you the gift tags. It's 5 designs. Make sure I got all 5. Yeah, 5 designs and then 5 of each design. So these are your little baby tags. And what I did for the cookie and for the angel, these are digi stamps, so you will get these. The only thing you'll have to do or have on your own is have a sentiment stamp. That's the only thing you're gonna need. You get the banners, you get, what is that, tulle, you get the twines, the ribbon, and this is cute. It comes punched out, because look, that's what makes the pretty ornament. And then I'll show you in the next class how to draw that. So I wanted to tease you and tempt you with the card class, the gift tag card class, because that will be December, let's say 2nd, and I'm working on them right now. So once you place your order, let me know or send me some money, honey, then I'll pop it in the mail to you. I want you to receive it so you can start them by December 6th. I'll get a video to you and everything. December 2nd, excuse me, because I want you to have plenty of time to put them on your Christmas packages. All right, this was fun. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was a good class for you. It went a little over. We were at about 50 minutes. Yeah, I think with 3 items, it'd be hard for me to stick to 30 minutes, but let's always keep them under an hour if humanly possible. Thanks for crafting with me, you guys. Remember to post your stamps on Facebook and look for me on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe. I got all kinds of great videos there for you. And that is it. Enjoy your class and let me see your cards. Thanks, you guys. Bye now.